I would say the one feature that exists across every one of the contributors is the ability to use networks and rally the troops around to help when help is needed. So where did each of you find that support? Shereen, I know yours. Yeah? So you have a great mom, a mom who's, well, you talk of good food, good sense, and in fact, she's your fashion consultant too, you lucky thing. That's what makes you look so good all the time. But yeah, so where are these networks and who are they that help us get to work every day?
I think while I was growing up, it was clearly my parents, and my father was a fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force, so we pretty much picked up our bags and moved place to place every 2 years, and I think that's where I get the strength to adapt and cope with whatever the changing environment is, and I think my resilience comes from that as well. But my parents were always unconditionally supportive of whatever choices we made. I decided to become a journalist. My sister teaches jazz ballet in San Francisco, and it was never sort of thrust on us that you have to get married by a certain age or you need to be in a certain kind of profession. So I think a large part of who I am today is because of the kind of opportunities that we were given while we were growing up. And I have to say, while you know, at work, it's clearly been a lot of my seniors who've been my mentors, people like Raghav Behel, Senthil Chengalvarayan, who always gave me the opportunity to believe that I could do what I set myself out to do, who were there when you needed counsel, when you needed guidance, you just needed a shoulder. They were always there for you. And I think, you know, just having the ability to chat with people. I've interviewed Dave Jani and you and Mrs. Pillai so often, and just the ability to have a conversation with other women, when you then begin to feel that you're not the only one who's going through the pangs of guilt, you're not the only one who's going through the feeling of I'm an imposter because maybe I'm not really meant for this. And I think all of us go through those bouts of self-doubt, of self-scrutiny, and I think it's important to know that there are others like you who feel that way as well. And so just being able to have a conversation, an honest conversation, and I don't think that women in power, since the book is about that, I don't think women in power really have honest conversations about the issues that weigh them down, about the way that we feel, and which is why I identify with Sheryl Sandberg and what she says in Lean In, because I've held myself back at work. I've been uncomfortable to talk about compensation, I've been uncomfortable to negotiate a salary, whereas I don't think my male colleagues have ever had that problem. I've been uncomfortable to even talk about my achievements, like I would not tell anybody that I was coming here for this book, or I was even a contributor as far as this book is concerned, till I left work, and then, you know, people in my office were surprised that I was even coming here. So I think we hold ourselves back, and I think a large part of the evolution that we talk about also has to start from within, and I'm attempting to do that, and I've been working on it for the last couple of years.
Thanks. And so networks. Jyotsna, you lost your husband very early in life. You brought up a fabulous family. How did you do it?
So I'm actually riding on all the networking that Lalit did. Frankly speaking, I walked into your office as well soon after I lost him. See, the one thing that Lalit did, which was very unusual for a Punjabi man, was to allow his wife to come into the business. And he brought me into the business very early. I worked shoulder to shoulder with him, and he was the networker. And I actually didn't do all of that till I lost him, and I suddenly realized that I had to do exactly what he was doing if I was to survive in my business. Fortunately or unfortunately, you really can't survive. Well, not only in India, anywhere in the world. You have to have that amount of networking, that goodwill, that door that you can knock on if you're in trouble, because all of us are in trouble at some point of the time. So I actually rode on his networking, and today I can say that I've actually cemented all those relationships. I've been able to hold forth all those relationships. And somewhere at the back of my mind, while he was doing what he was doing, I guess it was all kind of seeping in. You know, you learn, you imbibe. And I think I did a lot of that with him. While he was around, while he was doing what he was doing, and I was doing what I was doing, I was still like a sponge, and I did pick up a lot of things. And that networking has truly helped me.
Well, clearly, a lot of friends, and that's always a big help. So let's just move to how difficult has it been? I mean, for many of you, you're pioneers, and Pallavi, let me turn to you in the legal profession as you step into a space. You write about the fact that you would have clients that would prefer to wait for half a day because they wanted your husband, Shardul, to be handling the case and not you. Or indeed, you were just telling me a story just now, but then I should let you tell the story.
And I think when I started practice in the early 80s, I think there were very, very few women in the legal profession and very few of us who actually took the profession very seriously. There were a number of young women who were around, but very few of us took the profession seriously. So I have faced this. At office, I would have clients who would say, no, we will wait for Shardul. And they would wait for hours, and Shardul would tell them when they met him, but I'm not doing this matter, Pallavi is doing, and they would come right back to me, not sure what I would be able to do with it. Till, I think in the about first decade, I faced a lot of this, from the clients. Till came a time when in 1991, I had to have a back surgery, and there was a matter to be done in the Allahabad High Court. I've had my surgery. I couldn't travel because I had a major surgery. And so I told the clients, I think somebody else will come with you from the firm. And they said, no, with all respects to everybody, we only want you. And they were ready to go to any lengths to see that if I could go to Allahabad and there and do the matter. So that was a big sort of, you felt, oh my God, have I reached even there? That clients have faith in me. I think equally was my lot in court. Because in the 80s particularly, except for a few judges who encouraged women to be out there and to argue, most of them were not receptive to women getting up and arguing and sort of arguing back if they had a question on responding back. And, I've gone through that. I remember a time when I was ready to argue a matter. I got up with all my books, put it right in the front, and the judge looked at the opposite lawyer and said, hey, she's ready to argue. I was so incensed. How can he say that? I think that just made me more determined. I just dug in my heels and I said, okay, if that's the approach, I'm going to be here every single day just to show that, we can be ready, women, and we can do this, whatever it is.
All of you for having borne with us. I hope you enjoy the book and take back the many lessons that these great ladies here have for you. Thank you very much for being here.